Hey y'all, this is Driver. So I'm gonna do another run here. I've been goofing off a little bit since probably the last video, so apologies if they're not like in order from city to city, that kind of thing. But we're in Springfield, Missouri. I picked up a load of scaffolding here at Ashley Furniture, which is from Real Company Mod, and we're going to Springfield, Illinois. So it was kind of unique to go from Springfield to Springfield. So anyhow, let's go ahead and get our show started here. We can get going. I decided to switch trucks. As you've seen, I'm driving the Freightliner Classic XL, and also pulling, that's my owned skateboard flatbed. So we're going to be pulling that tonight. And why are we rolling backwards? Okay, now we got some issues here. So we get this sorted out. Okay, I don't know why it was doing that. Maybe it's a backwards roll, like a little bit of hill roll. There is kind of a hill start that helps with the manual shifting and stuff, keep you from rolling backwards. I don't know if I have that turned on or off. I really haven't noticed a huge difference, but I do notice that sometimes it'll hold the brakes a little bit for you. That's kind of nice. Has its perks and its pitfalls at the same time. I did make some tweaks to my audio. I cut my microphone down and I reduced the game audio, so maybe that won't be as noisy. That way we can just chit chat as we go here. Yeah, I haven't been on here for a couple days. About the past week, I've been goofing around in the Dodge pickup, which is another one of my mods. And when I'm cruising around that truck, I just open up the cities and stuff like that. Open up the depots, the fuel stops, rest stops, get a lot of the photo trophies and video points and all that stuff out of the way. I usually do all that, doing that with that truck. Just because it's a pickup and it can get in and out of places pretty quick. I also do the hidden roads. If you're not familiar with them, hidden roads are roads that are not generally on the map. And when you get up to them, or you see a road that's hidden, and you start to drive down it, it'll pop up and say new passage found or something like that, map updated. And as you drive down it, it starts discovering the road. It'll have like little dottish looking lines to it. I go and I look for those. There's some guides that I use that kind of tell me where some of those are at, so I usually do that. And that's kind of what I do, kind of on the offside, just something different to do with the game. Kind of breaks up the monotony of just running back and forth with loads. Unfortunately, it's a little bit tiring on me because I'm still using the wheel and pedals, and but I put the truck into auto mode and I have a button box set up just for that. Well, not just for that, but I have two buttons set up to go from reverse to drive and neutral and all that stuff. So it's a little bit more realistic, but the buttons are acting kind of funny. So but you know, you're in and out of parking lots a lot. You're driving on the gas stuff. Like right now I'm running the cruise control at the interstate here, and you know, your foot starts getting tired after a while. And I've noticed that with these pedals and stuff, the center of my foot will start to get sore, almost kind of getting bruised from pressing the brake so much. So I do that for maybe a couple hours, and then I'll take a break usually. Sometimes I'll just go get something to eat, just get away from the computer. But usually after my foot starts hurting like that, it's time to give it up for the day. Also too, my pedal assembly and everything is a little too close. My steering wheel almost rubs my stomach, and when I have my feet down at the pedals, my legs are not angled quite right, and it puts a lot of pressure on my my ankle, my right ankle mostly. So after a while, you know, just the ankle gets sore, the foot gets sore, and you know, you just got to take a break. There's times I can get on here and I can drive around doing this kind of stuff for 5, 6, sometimes 8 hours, and it doesn't bother me because I'm, you know, get on the freeway and I'm not using the pedals as much. Like right now, just to give you an idea, I have a footstool under my desk, and I currently have both my feet kicked up on the footstool, cruise control set, and just cruising down the highway here. Obviously when I get into the cities, my feet are back down at the pedals and doing what I got to do to get through town. So there's that. So Yeah, so not hadn't been a whole lot going on. I didn't set up my OBS, so I ran into some issues today. I decided that I was going to try to start using my Stream Deck. So I have a Stream Deck that's made by Razer, and at its current state, I do not recommend it. I wouldn't recommend it on day one. I don't really remember what I paid for it. It's kind of neat because it's got 6 volume knobs on it, so you can set up 6 volumes. And I can set it up through OBS, or I could have. And every time I turn around, they'll have updates, and everything has updates. I get that. But usually their updates breaks a lot of things, and that's kind of common with updates to begin with. But they'll do an update, and then it'll be 6 months before they do an update that fixes what they broke, and then it breaks something else. And it's just been a continuous issue. Other issues I've ran into before is their plugins. So currently installed right now on the plugins is my Spotify. It makes it pretty nice. I can skip songs and turn the volume up and down when it works, and sometimes it doesn't, and I don't know why. That is currently working. At least the last time I was using Spotify. Right now I'm using Pandora, so I'm using my web browser for that. Anywho, today or tonight, considering it's like 10, almost 11 o'clock at night, I wanted to get the buttons set up for the OBS, and using it with the OBS plugin, you can control your volumes for like your microphone, your game audio, even Discord. It's pretty nice having all that set up. Well, I went in there and it didn't show OBS in there anymore. So I was like, well, what the cotton picking's going on here? So I went to their little market. It's called a Loop Deck, and in their market, I scrolled up and down. There's, I don't know, 50, 60 plugins on there, and I could not find OBS. So I even typed it in the search and nothing comes up for OBS. Did a little Google search, and 3 weeks ago, people were complaining that OBS was not showing up as a plugin no more. The only thing that was showing up was the icons, which you could change out the icons in the buttons. So that is not working anymore. It's not even currently available as a plugin, which is the whole reason I bought this darn thing a couple years ago. I really regret buying this Razer. And it's nothing against Razer products. It's just this Stream Deck just doesn't work like I wanted it to. And I've learned a hard lesson that I should have bought the Elgato Stream Deck. The reason I didn't get it is it's a little bit more expensive. They went down in price a little bit from what I was looking at online earlier. But to get a Stream Deck that has, I think it's got like 8 or 10 buttons on it, and it's got 4 volume knobs, that's currently $180. That's not too horrible. But the one that I want's got more volume knobs and stuff. Not that I'll ever use all of them, it's just I want to make sure I have everything I need. Well, to get into that and then having more buttons centrally, that would make it nicer. I can't remember how many buttons that one had. It looked like it had probably at least 20 something, maybe 24 or 30 buttons. And that thing's like 379 or 500 something. I can't remember. It's pretty pricey. And with not working right now and kind of living on a budget, it just kind of is what it is. So for me to start my recordings and things like that, I'm having to go back the old-fashioned way, which is to tab out and, you know, select what I want to do, if I want to record or whatever. And that's not a horrible thing. It's just I got used to the button box. It made it so much nicer, especially when I was live streaming. I didn't have to tab out of the game to put up the be right back screen to go get a drink or something like that. It was all buttons right there, and I could just continue on. So running into that little caveat, you know, it's part of, you know, being a YouTuber, Twitch streamer, whatever you are, because we all use different platforms. But one of the pitfalls of tabbing out of games, and I've noticed this with a few Steam games. There's one that I play at times called Supermarket Together, and sometimes when I turn the game on, I'm not able to walk around with keyboard, and I don't think there's a controller option for that game, so I'm not able to walk around, and I have to shut the game down and restart it again. And I've noticed that if I have it up and everything's working fine, and I tab out of the game, say to go adjust my music or go to join voice and talk to somebody in Discord, then when I come back to the game, I can't move again, or it's stuck on me strafing to the left, and that's all I can do to move around. And one of the games that I used to do videos on here and there that I'm planning on adding more videos to this is Car Mechanic Simulator. It's one game I really enjoy, and that game I've had issues where I couldn't walk around, and especially tabbing out. So unfortunately I was going to do some videos on that tonight, and that's not going to work for now. I might be able to go in and change my settings and make it where it's like full screen borderless or something like that, and when I'm in the like escape menus or something, maybe I can use my mouse to get over to somewhere else without having to use the alt tab feature, but I'm not sure yet. I'm just gonna have to kind of see how it goes. But anyways, we're gonna do some trucking tonight. The reason I wasn't going to do any trucking was my feet are just starting to do that pins and needles feeling. It's a weird sensation because it's a cross between like a pins and needle to my almost my toes are like cold, like I need to put socks on, which I have socks on now. I have to wear socks with my pedals because they hurt my feet after a while. So just trying to figure all that stuff out, guys, and you know, still kind of just dealing with some of my own issues, and I don't want to burden everybody with all my issues, so I just try to get on here and do what I can when I can. This past week, and it looks like for probably the next week or so, we're gonna have rain. It's been every day, and it's not been thunderstorms, but it has been very, very heavy rain, hard enough you can hear it even over music or playing a computer game. It's been pretty crazy. And of course, whenever it does quit raining, that means I won't have to go out there and, you know, bush hog the front yard by then. So yeah, just trying to deal with some of that. The weather plays a lot into some of my headache issues. So I've noticed that when there's a bad storm coming, my headaches will get kind of worse, almost kind of like a migraine status, but not quite there, but getting there. My roommate, the last place I lived at, I irritated him one time. We were out in his pole barn working on a vehicle, and my head was hurting real bad, and I had my face and my eyeballs just trying to deal with this headache. And he came up to me and he goes, "Well, what's wrong with you?" I said, "Oh, you know, my usual headache." And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "That sucks." I said, "I know." I said, "It's going to snow in a few hours." And he goes, "No, it ain't." He goes, "It's not even in the forecast." I said, "No, it's going to snow in a few hours." He goes, "No, it's not." Well, sure enough, 2-3 hours later, he opens the door of the pole barn. It's wintertime, and it was cold, so we had the fire going and everything in there. He goes open the door to go outside to do something. He starts cussing me. And I'm like, "Why? What's wrong?" He goes, "It is effing snowing." And I'm like, "Oh." He goes, "You and your human barometer, you whatever you are," and just, you know, just start screwing with me about it. And then the funny thing is, you know, not long after it started snowing, or that we knew that it was snowing, my headache backed off. So it's weird because I don't get to enjoy the weather before the storm. I get to enjoy the storm. But the way our weather's been here the past week, it's been heavy rain, then sunshine, then no rain, then heavy rain. Then it just kind of been back and forth. So the pressure is constantly changing. And as you can tell, it's kind of affecting my voice a little bit too, just the headache I've got. Right now, it's kind of like having either a hard hat on or like a bandana, you know, being like Rambo, but somebody's behind you trying to tie it tighter. It's just pinching your head. So that's kind of how my headache is right now. So I'm going to try to do a couple of videos. Once I get into doing something, sometimes I can kind of forget about my headache a little bit if my mind is on something other than a headache. It's hard for me to lay down or try to relax, like say in a recliner with a headache, because there's not enough keeping my mind occupied to keep my mind off of that headache. So anyhow, this whole trip is about turned into me just complaining about headaches and medical things, so I apologize. Hey, so yeah, we're about 40 minutes from where we're going, 40 miles. Go over and get this off, and like I said, I'm gonna do a few loads tonight as long as my feet will start cooperating. I do have my OBS set up to do recording another game. I don't know if you guys are even familiar with or have heard of. It's called Cache Cleaner Simulator. I'll make a disclaimer in there, but I will say right now that no, I don't agree with, you know, the whole money laundering thing in real life, you know, the crooks that, you know, do that kind of stuff. But this game's kind of fun. It has a storyline to it. I don't want to ruin the storyline in case I decide to go ahead and do a series on it. But it's just a pretty neat little game. You get thrown in and you're locked in this building more or less, and you can't escape, and you're kind of following the orders of some other people. And so it seems like you've been kidnapped into more or less being a slave, I guess we'll call it. And you know, people drop money in through this one chute, and you gotta do what they need done with it and send money out whatever way they want it. So they may send you stuff in boxes, but then they want it shipped out in a backpack. And when I first heard about the game, a friend of mine told me about it. We got to exit up here. A friend of mine told me about it, and she was sharing her screen on Discord. And at first I thought, oh, this is going to be a stupid game. But then I just kind of was watching her, and I'm like, well, you know, that might not be too bad. And I picked it up on sale. I don't remember what I picked it up for, probably 15 bucks. And I thought, well, you know, that might not be a horrible game. And I've actually had quite a bit of fun with it. I've probably got over an hour in it of playing it. So it's actually been kind of a fun game. So I may do some of that tonight as well. Obviously, it's not going to be all released on the same day. If I do some of that, I might do a kind of like a little shuffle mixture. Like one day you'll get some ATS. You know, I've been saying I'm going to add some more games to the mix. Another one will possibly be is going to be Satisfactory. At least until I can get some of my streaming issues sorted out. But yeah, we're pretty much here. I'm running red lights, and yes, I do have traffic off still. Maybe in the next video we'll try traffic on, and we'll see what happens. And if I have to turn it off in the middle of it, then that it is what it is. But so I got my engine brake on. That's part of my problem there. Here. Turn right. Oh, it didn't go into gear. Oh, it went into gear. I hope you guys can see the little bit of stuttering I'm getting right here. It was down to about 48 frames, so with traffic on, I'm not sure how this is going to go. One thing I will say is I've noticed that I'll run into more stuttering and frame issues in the cities that, or the states that are either new. The newer the state, the more recent the release of a state, I should say. And also the states or areas of states has had reworks done. California is one. I've noticed a lot of California have stuttering in, and I've noticed that the new areas they've redone in Arizona and New Mexico also have a lot of stuttering. So, and I am facing the wrong way, aren't I? Well, I'd be. Let's see, see if I can turn around here. I'm not used to having a hood. Yeah, I can turn. Turned around here. We'll back up down there. This will be, I'll say, an easy back in. Ain't gonna be the best, but I think it's beside that other oversize. I kind of lost where that marker was out there. It's hard to see it in the mirror, to be honest with you. I think it's over here by this guy. Yeah, that right mirror. Maybe I'll be okay. Let's see here. Because I'm getting close to this trailer to my left. Okay. Let's try this again. I wasn't 100% sure on that one. Adjust these mirrors, I think. I think my mirrors are out of adjustment too. I know that's not an excuse. There we are. Ooh. Wheel on a second. Find the buttons. Let's see here. It was delivered. We'll let this all run out, do its thing. All right. Well, guys, that is going to do it for that run. There's a more daylight. You can see the truck a little better. But yeah, it's a Freightliner Classic XL. So anyways, guys, I think that's going to be it on this run. I'm going to look for another run, go get it loaded up, and I'll be back with you. So I'll catch you on the next video. See ya.